Here we are. You're live. It says we're live.
Yeah, we're
So there
perfect.
we go.
Let's
Now
hope it
we
works this
see.
time.
So welcome back to the Huddle, everyone. I know it's been a hiatus, but some dude in Indonesia or somewhere tried to hack my account, and Facebook was zero help in resolving that issue. So yeah, so
Yeah,
we're
Facebook. Let's just put it like this: Facebook didn't coach the coach up. That was the
that's
problem.
right. They didn't coach the coach up at all. So we were done. But we have a lot to get into because we missed quite a bit of stuff. So stop giving me hand signals. It says we're live on my end.
On
So
Facebook,
I don't know what to tell you.
is it
On
the
Facebook,
right one?
it says the Coach Muddle show. The Coach Muddle show is live.
Okay.
So let me. I'll pull up mine. See, is it? It says Coach Muddle show.
That's weird. I don't. Are you on the?
Yeah, I'm showing it live right here on my page.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Is it the old one?
No, it's the new one right here. Here it is.
That's weird.
It's good. So
okay.
I'm seeing it streaming.
Yeah. Jared just chimed in. So
Jared's there. He's on YouTube though. Jared's on YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's fine. But for some reason,
Jared, hold off on calling in because we haven't been on in a while. We got a lot of stuff to get to. So if you want to wait, I would appreciate if you waited till towards the end because we got a ton of stuff to cover because we haven't been on the air in quite some time, and I want to touch on a lot of things today. And really, what I'd like to start out with is your Eagles there, Nick.
Right.
Carson Wentz kind of, got shipped out. As I said, he probably should be. We all said he was going to go to Indianapolis. And honestly, in my opinion, I think Indianapolis was the only suitors for him. I don't think anybody else was in there because, let's face it, they pretty much got Wentz for free.
Well, I mean, not for free. I mean, you got a second round pick, but no. And look, I think he put the position to. Supposedly, it was a 2-dog race, and it was the Bears and the Colts. But I think Carson let it known he wanted to go to the Colts. So the Bears weren't going to put a bunch of a trade package in for somebody that didn't want to play for the team. Yeah. I think Carson thought this was the right situation, and he said all the right things. The only thing I didn't like was he basically said he had to relook at things in Philadelphia when he was benched. Well, look, there was some other circumstances other than Carson, but he deserved to get benched. Right. Yeah, the team had some issues, but his play was poor, very poor. I mean, he deserved to get benched, and that kind of goes into that talk of some of the players saying he was coddled a little bit too much and entitled. Like, you lost that job. Like, and look, Doug went on and waited to the last minute. He gave him all the rope in the world, and Carson hung himself with it.
And he cost Doug a job. He cost Doug his job as well. So, I mean, Carson, you should immediately have called Doug and said, I'm sorry, it cost you a job. Because that's not fair to Doug, Right. So, and we'll see. I honestly, Indianapolis, we said this a lot that they were a quarterback away from probably being a contender. And I don't know that Wentz is that guy, but for the price, I mean, they got him for 2 years early, like 20 million, 22 million, somewhere in that range a year for those 2 years before the big money, I think, kicks in. So they could kind of really 2 years and then they can let him go without having any because really the Eagles have eaten the entire lump of that. I mean, the biggest cap hit in history.
Part, I think the way it goes for him, it's like 4 years, 88 million or something. You're getting him at a good number. And I think, if it doesn't work out after 2 years, they can cut him and it's no cap hit to them. So it makes sense. And when you compare it, Coach, to what was out there, I would look, Stafford's good. But look, you had to give up a lot for Stafford. I think if I was Indy, I agree with that. You have the relationship between Reich and Wentz. I think that move made sense. I think he's going to fix Wentz. I really do. I think Wentz is going to have success there. And I don't know if we'll get into that top 5 realm he was, that, MVP type year he was having in 2017. But I do think he can get back into that second tier quarterback where he was going into this year.
Okay, I don't see him getting there. I think he has a lot of issues that need to be fixed. I mean, if anybody can do it, it's probably Frank. But I just think he's been so mind screwed that it's going to be a real tough tough overhaul. Let's put it
Right.
that way. Very tough overhaul. So, but he's got some good keys to being. He's in Indianapolis, a small market, a little smaller market, little less pressure. Maybe I don't know about that because Indianapolis, they're a quarterback away. They're ready to go and make that move. So,
especially with that offensive line, I do think Indy could. Obviously T.Y. Hilton leaves. They do have some big expectations out of Pittman, the receiver. But I would like another piece at the weapon.
Right,
outside.
and there's a lot of receivers in the draft, and I think they'll go and get one in the draft. There'll be some decent ones there in that mid first round. But you know what? Not for nothing, but Rivers kind of set that bar pretty high for Wentz. I mean, would they win 11, 12 games last year with
11,
Rivers?
I think. Yeah.
I mean, and you said the quarterback was the problem. So what do you say? I mean, is the under over 11? Is it 12? Where do you put that under over? You're the money man. Where do you do that?
With them, I mean, it's probably 10.5, 11. It's look. You can have different schedules,
but I don't know because I think Rivers won 11 games. You're better, so you got to win 12 plus games. You 12 games. I'm sorry, you got to be there. You got to be 11, 12. I mean, if you win less than 11 games, then
I mean, depending on the circumstances. No, I agree, and you got to see what the stats are too. What kind of numbers he puts up. But look, I mean, obviously he needs to win the division. I think now they should be a better team than the Titans. The Titans did go out and get Bud Dupree, but I think the Colts are a better team. So there's definitely that pressure, and we'll see how he handles that. Because look, now much like we're going to talk in a little bit in your quarterback. To me, there's no excuses for Carson Wentz.
Right.
Like you're coming in. You got your line, you got your team, you got your coach who everything was great with.
Mm-hmm.
Prove it now. Like he's got to have a prove it year, bounce back year, or there's going to be a lot of question marks about Carson Wentz.
I agree. 100% with that because it's just not a here you bitch, you whined, you got what you wanted. Now put up or shut up now. Is what it is. So we'll see. And just to touch on the Bud Dupree signing, I believe Bud Dupree is a Robin and not a Batman. So I don't think that it's going to be that successful in Tennessee for Bud Dupree unless they can add another a pass rusher. They got to, and I'm sure they'll address it in the draft. But he is a Robin, not a Batman.
And look, Clowney struggled with the Titans because there's not a lot of players there.
Right.
Bud Dupree, look, when you're going against that Steelers defense,
he's coming off that ACL, man.
Right, but plus when you're playing that Steelers D, you gotta we got T.J. Watt there. Where's Minka Fitzpatrick? Is he around the line of scrimmage?
Right.
There's so many different things you got to keep your eye on that Steelers defense, and they'll send those exotic blitzes at you too, Coach. Which So he's going to be the guy now in the Titans, and they're going to say, let's stop Bud Dupree. We'll see how he handles that situation. But, sticking with the Eagles, obviously the only real move we make, we re-sign some players. We bring in Anthony Harris, the safety from the Vikings. I like that move, actually. I do like that move. But I just question the team's kind of in no man's land, in my opinion. They're getting older in spots. They have no linebackers. I love Brandon Graham, but is he going to factor in 2 to 3 years? Is Fletcher Cox going to factor in 2 to 3 years? Is Brandon Brooks? Is Jason Kelsey? And that's kind of the foundation of the team right now is Darius Slay. They're a little bit older. The Eagles need to get younger. I think they're going to get younger, obviously. Miles Sanders is young. I think, you look at the weapons on the outside, Rager and Fulgham, they're younger. I obviously they're going to move on from Ertz. They'll keep Goddard. We'll see what they do in the draft. A lot of the talk is receiver or tight end. I'm not really sure which route they go, but you will have a healthy line next year. So that's the one positive.
At least you think. I honestly, you hope, because that was the same thing going into last year. And then everybody started dropping like flies relatively quickly on that offensive line. So,
but once again, I like the defensive line. They always have a good defensive line. But where's the linebackers at again, Coach? No respect for the linebacker position out of the Eagles. They just think you can put anybody there, and you can't. You just can't. I mean, the linebacker position is really weak, and the secondary, Jalen Mills is now gone. I don't know what they're going to do with Rodney McLeod. You do have Slay, but still, I think there's a big weakness at corner too with the Eagles.
I agree. I know that the corner from Tennessee, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I apologize, but he's meeting with the Giants, but he's supposed to go see the Eagles after, if the Giants let him out of the building.
Adoree Jackson.
Thank you, Adoree Jackson. But I believe he signs with the Giants. As I'm coming on the air, I didn't see any word as if he left the building or what, but
yeah.
I mean, the Giants went out, and I think this sets up the number 11. The Giants take an edge rusher. Rousseau, who I love. I've been preaching for 2 years now. He's my guy at 11, and I'm still okay with the Giants trying to trade back, maybe getting some more pieces, draft picks, and taking the defensive end from the other defensive end from Miami. Or the guy from Penn State, who's another, late first. Yes. So there's 3 guys for the Giants. I believe that sets you up for, that piece. And then you can kind of build depth the rest of the way.
I wouldn't mind, Coach, if Mekhi Parsons is there or Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, just because it's a playmaker on the defense. I could see them going line.
I think Parsons will be to the Eagles. He'll fall to the Eagles, but I don't know that he goes past that when it goes
you're right, but a lot of quarterbacks out there, Coach, a lot of receivers, things can start getting crazy. So we'll have to see that on draft night, obviously. But, another thing that happened with the Giants, obviously, we'll get into the big free agent signings too. But Nate Soldier, he took a pay cut, I believe, right?
He took a pay cut to come back, but he's going to play right. He's going to battle Pert, the rookie from last year, third round pick. They're going to battle for the right tackle spot.
Okay. How do you feel about the line? Would you be mad if they addressed the offensive line with the first round?
Yeah, I would be. I would be upset. I mean, if you're going to trade back, I think I'd be okay with it. But if you're going to stay at 11. And
there's not a guy there.
There's not a guy there. I feel like
unless Sewell drops, but I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen because I really think that Cincinnati will
I agree.
Will take him that there. So
you want your guy to protect Burrows. You're right.
Right. So I don't think he'll be there. And then the next guy is the kid from Vatek, and I think he's more of a mid to probably like between 18 and 22. I think he's in that range. So if the Giants drop back a little bit, I feel like I'd be okay with that.
Right.
But I still am hell-bent on we need an edge rusher. I mean, we've been saying this for 4 damn drafts now that we need an edge rusher. And I think now we need to address that.
Yeah, and it makes Leonard Williams better too, and he had a heck of a year last year. And they backed up the Brinkstrup,
And we had to let a piece go. We had to let Tomlinson go, which was a big part of that because I feel like Williams is more of a Robin than a true Batman. He's Batman-ish. But he needs complementary pieces around him, and when those guys play well, you saw him really excel. So,
but I do think you will see they will try to find a replacement for that defensive tackle in that first, second, third round.
Well, I don't know about that because you have B.J. Hill, you have Dexter Lawrence, you have a couple the guys that are rotating in. There's a couple of guys there that I'm okay with them getting somebody later in maybe the 4th or 5th round that can kind of come in, and I'm not too worried about that more of a need than edge.
Right.
complementary corner, because if you can get another corner that you're happy with, now that opens up the blitzing and being able to dial things up because with the Giants. So we'll see. Middle linebacker is another issue defensively, and that offensive line. I really think those are the issues that need to be addressed. And I'd also like to say that Sam Darnold should have been taken over Saquon Barkley, and we would be talking Giants Super Bowl contender with the addition of Galladay instead of, oh, well, maybe they'll win more than 7 games because of Daniel Jones. I'm sorry.
But how do you feel about the Galladay signing?
I like it. I just think that the Redskins, as always, or I'm sorry, the Washington football team screwed us. They overpaid for the kid from Carolina. They overpaid on that kid. Samuel. They overpaid him, which kind of jacked up the price a little bit more for Galladay.
Galladay's a better
he's
player.
Coming off some injury. He is. He's a true number one.
He's young,
and we haven't had a true number one guy in quite some time at that position. And let me tell you right now, I'm saying it today. What is it? March 22nd. March 22nd. I'm trying to jump the gun. I'm trying to get up early, get closer to kickoff here. But I am saying that Slayton, and you know how high I am on Slayton, this is going to open Slayton up to have a huge year. He is my guy. I am hanging my hat on Slayton this year because now there's a true number one on the other side and gives him a chance to develop into that.
It's also good for Sterling Shepard.
Right.
And then obviously you got Ingram, and now you have a
Well, we had to sign Rudolph because Ingram can't catch a cold buck naked in Antarctica. Go ahead.
But still, Rudolph's a good veteran tight end to go along with Ingram. And look, maybe Ingram in this offense with all these pieces and Barkley now, if Barkley can have a bounce back year, it's going to maybe Ingram has a big year. But Galladay, coach, obviously last year a lot of injuries. But, in 2019, 16 games, 1,190 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns. But the big one, only 65 receptions, but 18.3 yards a catch. So explosive down the field. Danny Jones, this is the prove-it year. If they're going to move off him, if he doesn't have a good year this year, Giants will be looking for a new quarterback.
And a new general manager. Absolutely. Got to be. We can't have what's up there, Stiz? Thanks for tuning in. PP Eater is with us. Thank you guys for checking us out.
Stiz, we're not on Facebook, Coach.
I am. I'm watching it right here. Look, man, this is us on Facebook right now.
Yeah, but it's not on mine.
That's just your page. Are you at the Coach Muddle show?
I went to, unless there's another one created. Ask Stiz.
No.
Stiz, tell this guy that it's not on Facebook. I'm lying to you?
Well, I just.
Well, good. And you got a party of one watching it, Coach. It's
only you. Okay. I don't know where else to share it. Share it to a page. That's the Coach Muddle show. I'm already shared there. That's shared it to nothing.
Stiz, we need help, buddy. We need a lot of help. We got to get Coach into the some kind of program to help him with the technical end of the show here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to somehow, some way. But
I wonder what happened, man. Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know. I don't
figure
know.
It out.
We'll figure it out. But also, getting back to that, it's Daniel Jones make or break, and Dave Gettleman. I mean, you hung your hat on Daniel Jones drafting him so early, and when you came here, you talked about fixing the offensive line, and you still haven't fixed it yet. So
yeah, I still think they have line issues. I'm be honest with you. I'm not in love with the offensive line, but
I agree. I did like what I saw from Shane. I say Shane Lemieux. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. The kid we got from Oregon, the guard. We still have a used car salesman playing center in Gates, but. I think we had to let Zeitler go. I know as a cap casualty, but we'll see how we can fix that. We're not far away. We're not far away from really.
I think, and I said this last year but I think you're the most balanced team in the NFC East. I think the other teams, you say the Redskins, really good defense, but I question that offense. Cowboys, really good offense, but I question the defense. Eagles, I question the whole damn thing right now. And, Giants, I think if Danny Dimes can play well, I think you got a very good defense with a good offense. And the big thing, Coach, and I think you'll agree, Saquon Barkley. If he runs the ball and has a good year, Giants are going to be dangerous, and Giants are going to win the NFC East.
Yeah, and what I would run the crap out of Barkley and see what I could get him to trade for him at the end of the season, right. Because backs are interchangeable, and let's move on with our day. That was a bad pick by Dave Gettleman to starting his tenure, and I stand by that. So is what it is, because you had plenty of holes to fill. You could have traded back and filled some more holes than taking him, or you could have taken Sam Darnold, and he's better than Danny Dimes. He just is in the dumpster fire that is the Jets, and that's his problem. But if he was at a decent team, he'd be lighting it up. I can almost guarantee it. So anyway, let's move on from that.
Okay.
So and also, a lot of big names stayed home. Leonard Williams, what's his name from the Bears, the receiver, which I was surprised. Robinson stayed with the Bears. I thought.
Oh, well, he got tagged, so I don't think that was by his choice.
Because some of those guys say, screw you, I'm not signing the tag. I want out. As who was the kid from Jacksonville a couple of years ago said, I'm not. And then they wound up. Yeah. So
defensive end.
Yeah,
no. Look. If you're a Giants fan, I think it was a good offseason.
Absolutely.
You brought back Williams without having to tag him. You got him on a long-term deal. I like the Golladay signing. They did overpay for him, but Coach, that's free agency. That's why you use free agency to supplement your team, and that's what the Giants are doing. They're bringing that player they think they need. You're not going to, as you know, the winners of free agency every year, and it was the Washington football team every year for a long time. Doesn't usually do anything. It's remember the Eagles? They had the dream team they were calling it.
Right.
They got all these players. Team didn't even make the playoffs. So
they had Vince Young. I mean, all those guys. So when you have two quarterbacks, you have none. So and I want to touch on the Raiders. What the hell are they doing? Because we do have some super fans in the South that still watch the show and really think they're analytical about things. But honestly,
no, Raiders wise, I like getting Yannick Ngakoue. I do. The defensive end, and they get him at 2 years and $13 million, so 2 years, $26 million. I like it. It's not a long-term deal. Look at Dupree. He got $85 million. And I know it's a rush linebacker, but still, he's an edge rusher essentially. So I like that deal. I don't get the offensive line. That's my big question. And then they go and get Kenyon Drake, who, it's but it's another weapon for the offense. What about that defense? The defense is what cost you a bunch of games last year. What about that secondary? You haven't fixed it. Now, look, free agency's not over. Can they add a Kyle Fuller from the Bears? The cornerback, you talked about a Dory Jackson. Can you add that kind of player? Can you add a Richard Sherman? But they need secondary help. I got questions on the line. When you lose Gabe Jackson and Rodney Hudson, two perennial Pro Bowl offensive linemen, and say, well, we're going to have Denzel Good in. Yeah, but Denzel Good isn't to the caliber of those two guys. Obviously, I think everybody in Raiderland wanted Trent Brown growing, and I get that. But hold on. To replace these players.
Hold on, because if I remember at the press conference, wasn't the quote? And we'd have to get a hold of the super fan to see if I'm correct or not. Mm-hmm. But we've just signed the LeBron James of offensive linemen. Okay, but if that was the LeBron James of offensive linemen, why did you give him away for free, basically? What'd you get in return? 6, 7 round pick? I mean.
It was a swap. I think it was bad. And like Stiz said, he's right. Kenyon Drake, you have Josh Jacobs. So you're – right. And the money they gave to him, you're giving to a guy who's going to be your third down back, which, yeah, I mean, I like Kenyon Drake. He had 955 yards rushing last year and I think 9 or 10 touchdowns. But that's not what your team needs. You got Josh Jacobs, maybe draft a running back or look on the market for somebody else. You have glaring needs in the secondary. Like I said, I think you have holes along the offensive line. Right now, they don't have a right tackle, and Incognito, who they do bring back, he's 38 years old. If he's healthy, I love Richie Incognito.
Right.
But he's a 38-year-old who missed half the season last year. So there's question marks.
And you let your Pro Bowl center walk out the door.
Yeah.
And how come the Giants haven't picked up the phone to call and find out what it takes to get him on the team?
Well,
because last I checked,
last week. They both got traded. So they ended up getting a pick for, I believe it was Hudson, and then Gabe Jackson got traded to the Seahawks because of Russell Wilson. But it shows you that, Russell Wilson wanted a lineman in, they get him Gabe Jackson. And, you can say those guys are getting older, but they're good veteran linemen who they both played every game last season. You're going to miss that. I'm telling you.
Why do I have a feeling that it's all going to be David Carr's fault this year?
Derek Carr's fault.
Derek Carr's fault. That it's and it's going to be offensive line issues, but they're just going to point fingers to Carr. And I'm sorry, but your head coach is 17 games under 500 since winning a Super Bowl, and I just don't think he's the guy.
And, Coach, that's part of the problem. I don't think there's enough pressure on him. You look at the Bears with Nagy and Pace, and mind you, they've been in the playoffs. There's pressure on them to make the playoffs. They're trying to find, trade for Russell Wilson and giving a king's ransom for him, trying to do what they can to win because there's pressure. Gruden's got that 10-year deal, and it just seems like he's like, well, if it doesn't work out and they don't make the playoffs this year, well, we're going to, because you're kind of almost looks like the rebuild now. Then it's going to be like you said, oh, Derek Carr's the problem. I got to get my quarterback. So wait, you're telling me 4 years in, no playoff appearances, you guys have all talked about Derek Carr. Now you got to go find your QB? I mean, to me, that's fireable offenses for the GM and the coach. And now, too, with Mayock, you took a guy off TV who was a draft analyst for TV, and now you're starting to wonder, was that a good move?
Because he hit some home runs early. He had early success, and now all of a sudden it's
Cleveland Farrell, everybody said was a reach. Damon Arnett, a lot of picks that aren't panning out. So like I said, we'll see what happens this draft. But I think the Raiders, look, if they don't make any more free agent moves, and this is the team they're going with, and then whoever they draft, I don't see a playoff team. I think they need to make another 2 or 3 moves in free agency, grab a corner, maybe another offensive lineman, and then I would feel a little bit better that, they can make some draft picks and hopefully, can hit for the Raiders so that they can be, a playoff team, because that's what they're obviously clamoring for, with the Raiders, is to get into the playoffs and finally, have some success.
Right. Absolutely. So we'll see. We'll see how the Raiders make out because, let's face it, everybody else has gotten better in that division. And, and obviously you have a Super Bowl contender.
And let's not forget, too, the Chargers go out and sign Corey Lindsey, center out of the Packers, who was first-team All-Pro center, a real stud. Honestly, Coach, if I was the Packers, I would have had Lindsey back instead of Aaron Jones. I think you're more important along front, along the front of the line. I'd have kept Lindsey and let go Aaron Jones and maybe draft somebody. And I know Stiz is big on the back, A.J. Dillon. So you drafted a running back in the second round last year. Why not, obviously, give him a chance? I think they're going to miss Lindsey, the center. But, yeah, like you were saying about
– Is that confirmed? I'm putting this up. Is that confirmed? Did we sign Jackson? I have to look that up.
I'll look that up. But,
man.
AFC West, the Chargers got better. The Chiefs are obviously the Chiefs. But then you look out throughout the whole AFC. The Patriots made a bunch of moves. Bill Belichick trying to get them back to the playoffs. You got the Dolphins and the Bills. And then the AFC North, you got the Browns, Ravens, and Steelers. And then the South, you got the Colts and Titans. A lot of good teams in the AFC. I don't like what the Steelers have done, letting Dupree walk, and I don't agree with bringing Big Ben back. I think that's going to be a mistake.
Yeah,
I think
even though they reworked the deal, I agree 100% with that. I do. They're saying, is that 3 years, $39 million?
I'm looking it up now, Coach. See if you're right, because that would be another very Giants agreed to terms with them. Yes, they did.
Awesome.
That's another good move for the Giants.
A huge home run and two back-to-back home runs, I got to say, with Galladay and then with this Jackson, really setting that defense up.
He's in love with Gelman now all of a sudden.
No, I'm not in love with Gelman. No, by no means. I mean, should the Giants win the Super Bowl, okay, he secured his job, but I'm still not happy with how this thing has gone to date. The first 2 years were very, very iffy, skeptical. Right. Last year's draft was a little bit better, and now this year with the free agents,
Coach, I do love. Let's give him credit, though. I do love the head coaching hire. If he was in on the head coaching hire, I do like Joe Judge. I think they are in the right direction with him. I like the Giants. I really think, in my opinion, right now, that's where I would go to win the NFC East. I look, that defense was good last year. Now you bring in an Adoree Jackson, but the big thing, like I said, I love the Galladay signing. You're getting Saquon back. If that offensive line can play above average, that's going to be a tough team to stop. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on Danny Dimes. So let's see if your boy Jason Garrett and Danny Dimes can get this offense rolling, because if they can, they're going to be tough.
By the way, the Giants were second to last in motion offense. Okay? They run the second least amount of motion in the entire league. Okay? So Jason Garrett, you better figure it out, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Anto, thank you for chiming in and letting us know about
we appreciate it,
Jackson
man.
getting signed. We appreciate that, buddy. And
thank you. Like the page, share it to your friends, man. We appreciate it, buddy. Go Big Blue, baby. We're big. Yeah. Finally. Tired of all this Eagle nonsense, man. Finally getting some blue in here, man.
This Eagle nonsense. Look, the Eagles were the squad, man, for years now. Now, not so much. And I think
they're a dumpster fire.
Well, the Eagles, there was rumors, Jimmy Juju Smith-Schuster, about obviously the Eagles offered him more money and more years, and he turned it down to go back for a 1-year deal in Pittsburgh. I think that shows you the state of the Philadelphia Eagles right now. It's a mess. You could call it a dumpster fire, and I think there's a lot of issues. They're a mediocre team with a lot of older veterans. They need to get younger, and I think there's a lot of people who have zero confidence in Howie Roseman. I think, there were some rumored issues with him and Lane Johnson. I don't know how much. Jeffrey Lurie has all the confidence in the world in him. I just don't know how much confidence Eagles fans have in him, especially if he goes out and Matt Millen's it this year and drafts a receiver in the first round, where it's not as bad as Matt Millen, but you have a second-round receiver, a first-round receiver, and then it would be another first-round receiver, and this one being in the top 6 picks. So, to me, a lot of question marks against Howie Roseman.
I don't know if the Eagles are in kind of a good spot, depending on how the quarterback thing plays out, being able to trade that pick, because you have so many holes, and parlay it into a couple more picks. You might be okay. But if they go get a quarterback, I just think, oh my goodness, man.
Yeah.
You're just shooting yourself in the foot. I really do. So.
And Tommy, what do you think about Kyle Rudolph? Obviously, you're a Vikings guy. I know he obviously is on the other side of his career. I still think it's a good pickup for the Giants. If you have some problems with Ingram, he might fit in that offense. It's always good to have 2 tight ends, Coach. You know that.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But, listen, I think, Ingram this year, I think this is his option year. I mean, if he can't catch a cold buck naked in Antarctica this year, then, he did lead the league in drop passes and balls to I forget the stat, but he bobbled more balls that turned into interceptions than any other receiver in the league. Just
well, he had that one against the Eagles. He would have won the game. And he dropped.
That's just a flat out drop. I'm talking about hitting him bouncing off of him and into a DB's hands. And it cost Daniel Jones an interception.
No, I know, right. But I was talking about, too. And obviously that play was horrible, too. And what Stiz said, too, he's 100% right. We'll burn the city down if the Eagles take a QB. He's right. It'll be bad. I mean, could you imagine, too, there's a kid, and he did look really good in his pro day, but a lot of guys look good in shorts
Everybody
and T-shirts.
looks good against air. Everybody's an all-American.
Everybody looks good in shorts and T-shirts. But Trey Lance out of North Dakota State, can you imagine if they take another kid out of North Dakota State? I mean, Eagles fans may lose their mind. I wouldn't go quarterback. I think you got to give Hurts an opportunity. You took him in the second round. Obviously moving on from Wentz. I think he showed some good things last year. Obviously, he's got to get the completion percentage up. 56% in the NFL nowadays does not get it done. He's got to get that better. But he also wasn't working with a great cast of characters last year, too. You'll have an offensive line. Let's see who they draft in the first round, and let's give them an opportunity. But not exactly thrilled either with the coaching hire. But, look, I didn't like Doug Peterson either. And he brought a Super Bowl to Philadelphia. So, you got to give him time to coach. He might not be great at press conferences, but as long as he's good with X and O's on Sunday, that's all I care about.
Okay. All right.
Well, with Judge, some people question that. And look, he turned out to be a great coach. And then I loved, week 17, talking to all those free agents and everything. And it looks like it might work, too, where he basically was a promo. I mean, essentially, that's what it was, saying, this isn't going to happen on my team. This is how it is.
Right.
I mean, that was just talking to free agents, coach. And it was a great opportunity that he took advantage of.
Absolutely. And, and I, that he is the first, I think, Belichick tree guy that is pretty good
Flores.
In front of the mic.
Flores.
Well, no, I'm talking about as far as press conferences and giving a little bit more of, Matt Patricia was like talking to a brick wall. Josh Daniels tried to do the whole Belichick imitation terribly, where Judge is just being Judge. That's him, and and I think he relates a lot to the fan base.
Yeah, and look, the one thing to me would be my biggest compliment of him. Those guys played hard for him all last year. They really did, and that's look, there were some questions with the Giants. I mean, and look at that jump in defense from the year before too. That defense was surprising last year. Yeah. They really played better, played for their coach, bought into the system, and that's a good start for Joe Judge.
And because look, what did I say last year? I said on paper, the Giants are going to put up 30-plus points. Can they give up less than 30 points a game? And here it was, complete opposite. Same old Giant offense not being able to score points, but at least the defense kept them in some football games.
Yeah. And if you look at it too, when Danny Dimes goes out at the end of the year, the defense was still playing well. It was the offense, obviously, that kind of let it down. And that's why I think you're seeing the moves with Galladay, and we'll see if they got anything else up their sleeve. But you bring in Kyle Rudolph, you bring in Booker to be a backup running back. So I like
see the Booker thing. I don't know, but it's the offensive line. That's where we struggle. That's the foundation of any offense. And I see that you put a lot of window dressing up, but if you didn't fix the foundation, the house is still going to fall down. So
yeah, well, Coach, it. Obviously, you're hoping some advance. Obviously, some Andrew Thomas improves. You see some improvement with him. You hope Solder comes back and has a nice year at right tackle. You did say, obviously, he's not going to be given the position. But obviously, there's still some questions with the interior of the line with the Giants. And, maybe you see a center taken in the second round, third round. But I still think, especially in the first 3 rounds, you're going to see some offensive line taken for the Giants. Maybe not in the first round, but They're going to take some because they need some offensive linemen.
Right. They need some offensive linemen. And, my thought is because, Will Hernandez, we were high on him. He had a great rookie year, and then he just kind of went backwards after that, and really, you had that 6th-round pick Shane Lemieux come in and really blow it up, and now it's you got rid of Zeitler because of a cap casualty, and you would think, okay, now we have Lemieux and Hernandez, the two guards, and the tackles might be right. We just need to fix the center spot, but I still think we have a guard and a center spot, and there's still that right tackle. They're not. It's not shored up yet. So hopefully, hopefully Pert comes up and battles it out and plays well.
And the Giants have struggled ever since they lost Chris Snee. He was a real player. Obviously the former son-in-law. Well, not former. He's still the son-in-law, but the former coach of Tom Coughlin. What's going on, Chris Lentz?
What's up, Chris?
Good to see you on, buddy. But no, yeah.
Hey, he's on Facebook. See, he's so.
That's because I shared the link out finally. When you finally shared it from your Dan C. Muddle, I was able to share it out. And
that's what it's on. It's. I don't know what to tell you. I'm watching it on my phone.
Will you tell this dope it wasn't going over Facebook until I shared it? That's how it happened. Let the guy know. Coach, he doesn't listen to me. Yeah, it's out there now. It was like 20 minutes late. Coach, he hasn't done this in 6 weeks. He's got to get back into the rhythm. I'm
so off. We got to get back in our rhythm and whatnot. It was a total debacle at the beginning, because they kicked us off. StreamYard kicked us off. Now we're, it is what it is. But,
Stiz said 11 yards last year for Danny Dimes, over or under 25 this year. I think, what's he, 11 TDs, you mean? I think he said, I think his yards. I think he means TDs.
Right.
25. I don't know. He's got some talent now. Stiz was high on Slayton last year too. You got 3 decent receivers. I think it's possible he goes over that. I would bet over before I bet under.
Okay.
Well, and you're going to have Saquon out of the backfield too, Coach.
Yeah.
Think about that. When you're passing, you got the option of Saquon out of the backfield, and Booker gets the ball out of the backfield too. And then you got 2 tight ends and 3 weapons. As long as Danny Dimes isn't running for his life,
right.
He could have some
success. And I
think
part of that is because now you're really putting defenses in a bind, because do you load the box to stop Barkley, which then now you have Galladay and all these weapons out there. So it really opens things up, I think. You'll see a lot of success, hopefully, from the Giants.
Well, look, if they can run the ball, it's just going to make everything better. You know it too. If you could get a 12 or 1,300-yard season out of Saquon, to me, you're putting the Giants in the playoffs. They're making the playoffs. They're to me, probably going to win the NFC East. They're going to be tough to stop if they can run the ball, let Danny Dimes do his things and play action and, rolling them out. And then obviously, helping out that defense a little bit. Because to me, I felt like, I've said the offense let that defense down a little bit, especially late in the year last year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We shouldn't have been playing for the playoff life on the last game of the season, So,
and Coach, one thing, too, to point out, we haven't really got into all the Russell Wilson rumors. Obviously, now he's going to stay put this year, but I think that's showing you that is going to be – I don't think he lasts. I think him and Seattle are headed for a divorce, and he's always said he'd love to play in New York. So if Danny Dimes has a bad year, if I'm your Giants – man, tell me with Russell Wilson with that team around him, Coach, they would be wanted to – this team has a shot at the Super Bowl.
I agree, but I don't know, because he's a $42 million a year guy. His cap hit is huge.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's the guy to now. If you said, Deshaun Watson, you're going to bring him in, I'm more on board with that, just because of the age factor.
Yeah.
He does come with a big contract, but I still think he's the guy that would be absolutely, because I'm willing. You know what? You want Barkley? Because I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm giving up Barkley and Danny Dimes, and how many other first-round picks do you want to facilitate that trade?
Right.
Because I think you're getting 2 first-round picks and two first-round players. That's 4.
And then to what Stiz said, you guys think Seattle will be more run heavy this year. I do, Stiz. And if you look at it, they were scoring all those points earlier in the year, but the defense was getting killed. I think Pete said, we got to run the ball more, try to keep the defense off the field because it's our weakness. So, yeah, I mean, obviously they bring Chris Carson back. So I think, yeah, obviously they're going to run the ball more. And I think Russell Wilson's fine with that. Russell wants to win games. I don't think he's as concerned as much about his stats. But what I think he was made with, they were asking him to do way too much last year.
Right.
I mean, he's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, you're asking a lot of him. Yeah, he does have some weapons on the outside in Lockett and Metcalf, no doubt about it. But that line really did let him down last year. And, yeah, you got Dwayne Brown, but that's one of the reasons you saw them bring Gabe Jackson, and you want to keep your franchise quarterback happy.
I agree with you, but Lance, look, I honestly, I could go off on the whole Watson trouble thing. I just find it fishy that it comes out now. And listen, no disrespect to any of the females and any of that stuff going on there, but I really think that this is, something either Texas is the Texans are doing this to make him stay, or he's doing it for the Texans to kick him out of town. Yeah. One of the, I think that is what I
don't know if you would do that, Coach, to get out of town. If you're
you're right. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I just mean, because there's smoke, there's fire. So, but I honestly, I'm a little suspicious about the whole thing and how this thing is unraveling. So I'm just kind of, pump the brakes and let's wait and see.
Right. And we go into free agency. Let me talk about some teams now, too, that haven't done much. I really thought you'd see the Bills, a team who made an AFC championship run, would go out there and look, maybe they're thinking it's through the draft. They didn't want to spend a ton of money, but I thought they could use some players on defense. I don't have a problem with them not going after J.J. Watt and spend all that money. But you see a guy like Yannick Ngakoue who got 2 years and $26 million. Why aren't you trying to bring a pass rusher like that onto your team? And not just that, too. The Bills, they didn't run the ball last year. I mean, they had a non-existent run game. So where's the moves for Buffalo to take the next step? Because, look, a talented team, but once again, they were asking, like I said about Russ, the Bills were asking way too much out of Josh Allen.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. Yeah, you tell them. Listen, and honestly, I think we're Buffalo drafting, there's going to be a running back there, the kid from Alabama or the kid from Clemson, one of those two kids.
Yeah, Najee Harris for Travis Etienne.
Will be there, and I think that fills a big void. So I thought free agency-wise, Buffalo would go out and try to add some pieces too, because if there was one thing they lacked was really getting to the quarterback last year was a problem for them. So. Right.
And look, the year before, they were a top 5 defense. And last year, just kind of struggled on that side of the ball. And, like I said, obviously, too, going to need to fix that running game because you just can't have, you're going to get Josh Allen hurt. He's going to be running for his life, running all over the field. They got to get a rushing game in Buffalo. And another team, too, I didn't like was the Packers. Everybody was happy. Obviously, you re-signed the running back, and Aaron Jones. But, man, I think, look, Coach, you got Bakhtiari who got hurt in late December, and you lose Corey Lindsey. Is Bakhtiari going to be ready for the start of the regular season? And you lose your all-pro center. So I got to wonder how Aaron Rodgers is feeling. Obviously he didn't love them drafting a QB in the first round next year. Now he loses his center. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the Packers. But that NFC, hey, man, Coach, you know it too. The Bucs, they're bringing it back, man. They're rolling it back. And I'm surprised. Look, Brady took a deal to help make some cap room. They brought Gronk back. Everybody, people thought they weren't going to be able to bring back Levante David and Shaquille Barrett. They did it. So they're basically running that team back. The only one out, the two that are out there right now is Fournette and Ndamukong Suh. And look, that's 2 big pieces, but still a ton of talent on the Bucs.
I think Suh is contemplating retiring. He got his ring. I think he's a little long in the tooth now. But surprisingly, if Fournette is still out there. I thought he was somebody that really, they leaned on him. They leaned on him quite a bit in the playoffs. Jason Dean, what's up, buddy? Thanks for jumping in. So I'm surprised they didn't bring him back yet.
Yeah.
Or anybody, nobody, he's not talking he's signing somewhere else either. I don't see him, his name popping up anywhere else.
Yeah. No, and look, Fournette was big down the stretch for them too. Unless they're planning on drafting a running back early, Fournette was good for them. And Ndamukong Suh was also part of that defensive line that was really good. So, and Jason Dean, we were just talking about your Raiders. I think they need to make. Jason Dean called in last night. He agreed. They need to still add a few more pieces. I would love to see them. Obviously, me and Coach were just talking to Dory Jackson. Went to the Giants. I would really like to see the Raiders sign Richard Sherman or Kyle Fuller at corner to add to that secondary, because you don't want to sit there going into the draft and say, well, we got 3 or 4 holes to fill and you need to hit on every pick, because that's just not realistic thinking, obviously, and especially with the history of the Raiders draft lately too.
Right. So we'll see. It's just been absolutely, Fuller went to Denver. Stiz with the breaking news. Okay.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that must have been – I didn't hear that today, because I was looking yesterday, and as of last night, he hadn't gone anywhere. So that would be that's another – and he's a good corner too, Pro Bowl corner. Yeah. Thanks, Stiz. I didn't see that. So, boom. Fuller goes to somebody else in the AFC West. That's not – another AFC West team getting better. And the question with the Broncos, though, and that was Coach's boy, but they got questions at QB. Drew Lock's the issue there. I'm just not sold on him.
I don't think it's Drew Lock. I saw flashes from Drew Lock. I just think the pieces aren't around him yet. I mean, the offensive line still needs some work to do, and and they just didn't run the ball enough. You have Gordon in the backfield, and so. We'll see.
And then Jason said free safety, right tackle, DT, and corner. And I agree, Jason Dean. And that's why I was surprised, with a guy like Anthony Harris, who the Eagles got 1 year, $6 million, why the Raiders didn't go for a guy like that. He's a great pass defender, led the league in interceptions the 1 year. I'm surprised the Raiders didn't make a move for him, because that's a position of need, obviously, for the Raiders, especially after they released LaMarcus Joyner.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe Gruden is out making commercials. We'll see. Maybe he'll figure out. Those shoes will help him. The Skechers will help him draft better or something.
Well, look, he said if it didn't work out, he'd give the money back. Well, to me, if they don't make the playoffs last year, if I'm Davis, I'm saying, hey,
I need my money back.
Yeah. Are you going to give me that money back? Because, and look, the way he's making moves, they just kind of feel like they're in no man's land. How good can they be next year? Which you could say it's a good thing that he's not out there GMing like there's pressure on him. But, you'd like to see some moves and some – look, the Raiders and their fans want to get to the playoffs. Get the team to the playoffs. I mean, you got to get that culture. You know what I mean? That winning culture, Coach. And that's one thing I thought Joe Judge did good in his first year.
Yeah. They changed the culture relatively quickly. The turnaround was really quick with the Giants, and we'll see that moving forward. And arguably, I think the Giants are at least a 10-win team coming into the season this year. I mean, easily 10 wins. And obviously we're talking about the NFC East, so 10 wins might just win you the division. So
yeah, the NFC East. And look, I know people, NFC East, no, I'm telling you, there were a lot of injuries last year. It's going to be a better division this year. I don't love Washington going out and getting Fitzpatrick. I think you got to find somebody who's going to be your guy. You can't just every year say, we're going to go get this guy, go get that guy. You want to have your franchise QB, because look, man, that defense is good. That's a top 5 defense over there in Washington. If you can get a quarterback, and like I said, you don't need some guy who's going to light it up and be a Pro Bowler. You just need somebody. Look at Russell Wilson his first couple years in the league when he was with the Legion of Boom.
Yeah,
he wasn't a Pro Bowl quarterback, but he got the job.
But I thought that was your guy. I thought that kid that played the playoff game is your guy.
Heinicke?
That's your guy. Heineke's the guy, and that you ride with. I mean, and then, I thought the playoff game earned him a year. I mean, if you're going to do that, if you're going to do what you're doing, I wouldn't have overpaid on a Fitzpatrick. Yeah. I would have bought somebody else in I'll
give him this. Heinicke, and this except for the second half of the Packers game, Heinicke played the Bucs better than any other quarterback in the playoffs. I'll give him that. He really did. Heinicke played well against the Bucs in that playoff game. But with me, Coach, it's a little bit of that, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the backup quarterback for the Packers who had that one game in Game 17, Flynn. And then remember the Seahawks gave him the big contract and drafted Russell Wilson, right. And then Flynn never ends up playing. I don't know if I'm going to, give a guy and make him my starter off one game. Heinicke did look good. He did play well against the Bucs, but I think the Bucs went into that game and say, we got a W, and kind of underestimated the Redskins a little bit.
Right. Absolutely.
What's up, Angela?
Hey, Angela. How you doing? Yeah.
She's down to spring training for the A's.
Oh, okay. Fun. Yep. Here we go. Getting ready to start MLB because, the Yankees just got, they're done. They're done, according to our super fan. Is that the alternate? Is that his alternate team?
No, the Rays.
I forget what the alternate team is for the super fan down in the south there. Right. The super fan midget because they blow out a team playing high school kids. You think it was the World Series or something? No. Anyway.
There was 2 stars playing that game, Coach. We got to worry about the Phillies. The Phillies got enough competition in their division. I think the Phillies are looking at best 3rd place in the NL East right now because I think the Mets and the Braves are clearly better than the Phillies.
Okay. What about the Nats? The Nats. I mean, how do you count them out? I mean, they're good every year, so.
That's why I said I think at best the Phillies are 3rd place. 4th place is possible. And the Nats, too, I'm drawing a blank on who it was. They already got a good pitching staff, and they added somebody else, too, and I'm forgetting who it was. But, I don't love the lineup as much. But, no.
So, wait, the Marlins was just a fluke? They did go to the playoffs last year.
I think it was a little bit. You had the shortened season. I don't think over a 162-game year. They're better, Coach. They're better, but I still think I don't think they're better than the Phillies, no.
Okay. All right. I will go with what you say. So, all right, listen up. Here's the game plan because something wrong with the my internet's a little flaky. So we're going to take a quick timeout and then we're going to come right back. All right. So appreciate everyone. Just we're going to send you a new link. It's going to be like starting a whole new show over again. We're going to get right back into it because we didn't get to anything else but football for the first hour. So, and I got to fix this internet thing. So I'm going to take a quick time out and then I'll be back in like 2 minutes. So we'll be right back. Thanks, guys. Hold on. So hold on. I don't know, but my internet just dropped off and I'm on the Wi-Fi.
You're still live. You might want to end that quick. Yeah, it might help. You flipping out.
Now it's not ending the broadcast. It keeps ending. It won't end, man.
Oh, man, it's gonna be a never-ending show. It's just we're gonna get the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest show on YouTube. Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks,
at least you did something right. This guy needs help, man.
I need help. I don't know what the hell the problem is here. What the hell is going on? We're still streaming.
I know.
Now we're not connected. So what the hell, right?